Hi. Whenever you are catching this, it's evening for me. As you can tell, I am on a night walk, which has become a really unexpected but nice little winter routine. I'm one of those crazy people that loves going in a cold plunge after the sauna. So I told one of my friends that this is my natural cold plunge because it's just nice after a long day of work and just moving from thing to thing to get outside and just move your body a little bit. And I say unexpected because I do enjoy me a walk, but I never thought that I'd be out here at night in the wintertime and it would feel good. Like, I actually am starting to look forward to these. And maybe I'm sharing that for some reason, I don't know, inspire someone to pick up or try out this habit. Because we need it. We all need ways to regulate our nervous systems and stay grounded, especially now. So even if I ended this video here, I feel God being like, that's a word. But it's not the complete reason why I hopped on here. I've been avoiding coming on camera for a while. And I thought of every excuse in the book. I, at one point, had space in my teeth at the bottom. If you've seen me on camera before, pre-2020 or pre-2021, 22, and I was self-conscious about that. I have had acne and skin issues, which I'm still not 100% happy with how my skin is acting, but I got to do my part in really solve the puzzle, break the code on what my face requires, because y'all, that's something that I didn't know until later in life, is just how different the skin on our face is. I mean, I'm using natural remedies already, but just to say, like, you really got to pay attention to what it is that you uniquely need, because even though I've been using some natural methods, it's still a certain order of operations that I got to layer the stuff on. But anyway, let me not get on a tangent. But that to say, I've been trying to think of every reason in the book to not get back on here, because I feel like I had some business heartbreak right around the same time that I had like some personal heartbreak. And what's been beautiful is that for the last few years, like a lot of people that I'm hearing on YouTube and TikToks that get shared in other platforms, like a lot of people have just been really kind of keeping to themselves. And I wouldn't go as far as to say that I don't have any friends, but the people that I've been close to, quote unquote, are nowhere near me. Like, I've moved around and like had just a lot of sort of nomadic, exploratory last few years, and it's been necessary because I've gotten to know myself and what kind of entrepreneur I really want to be, what kind of brand I really want to build, yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta really get quiet so you can hear your own voice, you can hear yourself think. And so That's been a lot of it over these past few years. And I feel like here I am, launching this startup that's been marinating or incubating, I should say, for coming up on 2 years in August. I looked at some paperwork when I was filing the trademark with my lawyer earlier today and realized that I filed the initial, or I registered the domain initially in August 2024 for Brand Evangelist. And I've been, avoiding it and being like, no, I can't tell you. I lost count of how many jobs I've applied for. And I would get a job, thinking, okay, I'm going to do it how I did in the old days, and I'll have a full-time job and have the side hustle. And it's been very clear to me that I was trying to put new wine in old wineskin, so to speak, because it's just not the time that we're in anymore. And, the more that I work more deeply with like tech and AI, which started about 22, 23 for me when ChatGPT first dropped. I was a pretty early adopter. And, now here I am, having closed my traditional branding agency, providing one-to-one boutique branding service, and starting a marketing technology startup that is on a path to scale. And at this point it's happening pretty quickly because the cat's out of the bag. Like, there is no more hiding. There is no more keeping it to myself. And at the same time, it's been really nice giving myself permission to go at my own pace. I know sometimes when you first, start a new brand or you start a new business, the world tells you like, oh, you need to, from day one, be posting every day, be on TikTok, be on Instagram, be on Facebook, build your LinkedIn, build your website, take out ads, go to conferences, hire, like, it's a lot. And it's been really funny, the conversations that I have with God to myself in my head about like, you really got me out here doing this again. But it's different this time. And I think that's the main message and the main thing that kind of compelled me to want to come on here and share. Last week, at the end of January, I participated in the Time to Rise Summit with Tony Robbins. And I had never interfaced with Tony Robbins before in my life. Like, anything that I knew of Tony Robbins was secondhand. I intentionally make it a point to not be celebritized. Like, at the end of the day, anybody who's famous or who's well known is just another human who got bold enough or brave enough or took advantage of the right opportunity at the right time or was in the right place at the right time. And most of them will tell you that it takes a good 10 years before you can become even a quote unquote overnight success. Like, a lot of people put in work behind the scenes before people ever really know about them. And so, with Tony Robbins, I just hadn't been on that train, but, respect, because he's doing his thing. He's helping people. But I'm just, I'm a skeptic when it comes to big personalities. And I have to say, because I always like to be real when I need to be course corrected. And, I've never, I don't bash people. I've never said anything negative about Tony Robbins. I didn't know the man. But what I will say publicly now on the other side of that summit is that it was one of the most electrifying, inspiring, and motivating environments that I've ever gotten a chance to participate in. It was 3 days plus a bonus day. We got together, Monday? And, 3 hours a day, not even like his full run. Like, he does this for 12 hours for 4 days in person, or has, from what I'm understanding. So what's interesting, and why I bring that up, is God will place the right resources, the right people, the things that you need at that moment in time to propel you forward. There's no need to put yourself on the timeline that the world adheres to. The tagline at Brand Evangelist is brand, build, believe, because at the end of the day, this is about creating something that really does have impact. All of us, anybody that comes into my ecosystem or is a part of my team, or I have the honor of working with or speaking to, it comes down to, what kind of impact do you want to make? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? How, are you leaving your corner of the world a little bit better off than you found it? How did you use your talents that God gave you? Did you bury them and hide them, right? Like in the parable, or did you actually go and invest them, quite literally invest them, share them, give them away, And that's really, even without him being biblical or professing that he's a Christian, I think some of the most successful people that we know behind the scenes, they have deep beliefs. They have faith-based practices. They are repackaging a lot of the things that, if you really look at it, come from the Bible at the end of the day. And that's something that I'm also paying attention to and learning from people like Myron Golden. Like, what does the Bible actually tell me about wealth, right? And how can I unlearn this idea that my addiction to suffering and trying to be Miss Fix-It for everyone around me is actually doing more harm than good? And you could have never told me that, because I didn't always necessarily understand it. But now that I've had some experience and really some time to reflect, it's like, no, none of us are here to be someone else's savior. All we can do is hope that from what we learn, what we gain, what we understand, that by sharing it actually does the helping for somebody else. But it's nobody's job to get in the way of somebody else's free will. People at the end of the day have to make their own decisions, which brings me back to a full circle of why I originally came on here. Probably so many other reasons why I'm on here at this point, but one of those original reasons was just to be a living example and a reminder. I don't exactly know where God is going to take me this year in 2026 with Brand Evangelist, or where I'll be in 10 years. But I just wanted to mark this moment because I really think that it represents a shift. I'm feeling it. A lot of people are feeling it. And you'll know when it happens for you, right? But this shift really comes down to, stepping outside of, the world's time. Ecclesiastes tells us, right, that there's a time and a season for everything. And so taking that into account with how you run your business, understanding the seasonality of things as well. I can't tell you how many invitations I've declined, like in January and in December. And mid-February, like next week, is really when people are going to first start seeing me for the first time in almost 2 months. I was in a business accelerator, and once we finished on December 4th, I got ghosted and was like, all right, it's crunch time. Like, this is actually when I need to like plug in and really understand what it is that I'm building and how I want to shape this thing. And I couldn't do it with any other influence because it has to be authentic to me in order for this to really work, right? Not only is that like natural or spiritual law, but it's just like the only way that I want to do it. So if you're feeling like, you know, here it is at the beginning of 2026, I haven't exactly reached the goals that I said that I was going to reach yet, and I set these lofty New Year's resolutions, and I have these things that I want to work on in my business, just with the amount of momentum that still happens for me, even though I'm not posting on social media daily, and I'm really being intentional about how I'm showing up, you know, like whether that's volunteering somewhere or actually one of the reasons I got inspired to come on is I just left my first board meeting. I'm on the board again for the first time in a few years, on a board, a nonprofit board. And so, you know, just keep that in mind. You know, at the end of the day, nobody knows you like you, and only you know the journey that you've traveled before you get to the place to where you're officially launching a business and, you know, you're building a brand and you're putting it out into the world. Trust that you know how you need to move, like really get clear on your voice. And if I could be as bold to say, I think it might be one of the reasons that a lot of businesses fail is because people just try to mimic somebody else's playbook completely. And some of the most successful brands, the most successful businesses, you know, when you think about some of the billionaires or big names or, you know, people that maybe you never even heard of because they're not making their wealth or their impact known publicly. But again, these people have discipline and a faith-based practice and understanding that to have more means they can do more. And I'm saying this more so for myself because I can't preach to anybody else right now, but hiding doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve our purpose. It's okay to have those like incubation seasons. I know mine lasted several years. Even though I thought I was like coming out and like ready to like do the thing. But boy, am I so glad that I took my time, because I'm not going to have any confusing mixed messaging. You know, I don't have any messes to go back and clean up while I was trying to figure things out. And I really can grow my business and do my thing with peace of mind. And that is so invaluable at the end of the day, because it really does position you to be able to say yes when the opportunities come. So anyway, who knows the direction of things with this channel, or with this page, this platform. I'd like to do just more off the cuff shares and talks for people that might find value in what I'm sharing, but also at the end of the day, I do want to document my growth as a founder, CEO, which even that, like, I can't tell you how long it took me to like call myself a founder and then call myself a CEO. Like before that, I was just referring to myself as an entrepreneur. But baby steps. So I appreciate you giving me some time for my future self. When you come back and watch this, know that you've put in a lot of hard work to get where you are, and you deserve every good thing that's coming your way. Don't be overwhelmed whenever more comes to you. It's just a reflection that you have a capacity to handle more, and you're ready.